Hi, welcome to Let's Talk About Market episode number 68. Sorry for the delay. There was some work that I had to do. Because of that, it got delayed. So sorry about that. Just give me a minute. Let me just set things up. Just give me a minute. Yeah, sorry, extremely sorry. So, let's get started without wasting much time. Basically, the Nifty index has seen a very good move today. So it's worth discussing what is happening. Wait, I have to do the setup for that. Just give me a minute. Yeah, so we are good to go. Let's just quickly, see what is happening in the Nifty index. Basically, one important thing that has happened is that many of the indices has seen a bullish crossover, and in fact few of the index which had given a bullish crossover had seen a turnaround, a follow-up gains today. So by the way, please, if someone can let me know if they are able to see my screen properly and if they are able to hear me. Just put in a comment in the chat box, please, if you all are able to hear me and see me, hear me. Okay, thanks, Gaurav. So one important thing that has happened is that, in fact, the 61.8% retracement level has also been broken, right? In fact, we are now sitting at the 78.6% retracement, and you can see over here, a change in Dow trend as well, because the Nifty index closed above the previous high. So these are good signs. All we now need to see is a follow up in the coming trading sessions. So that would be really nice to see. In fact, in many of the indices, if you see like mid cap index, where it had seen a bullish crossover yesterday. In Friday's trading session, we saw follow-up gains today. So that is again positive. In fact, if we see the larger bread today, so the small and the mid caps, they were relatively outperforming the Nifty index, and even micro cap, did see a good move. So broadly, it was a good bread for the market. So we have got that first level confirmation that we were looking out for, which was break above the previous high, and then a bullish crossover in RMI. Okay, now what we need to see is a follow up buying, and ultimately a break of this resistance level. Okay, so we are somewhere over there. It is more like a 100 200 point move that we need to see now. With that, it will lead to a break above the previous high. And also, why that is important is because so far on the monthly chart we are getting this negative monthly close, right? Of course the month is not over yet, but it is on the verge of doing that. So uh, so we just now have to wait for few more trading sessions to get those confirmation. But again, if there is a positive monthly close, then nothing like it. If at all for some reason correction happens and so on, and if we end up getting this negative monthly close, then whatever is the recent high, that is of 26,325, that will end up becoming an important resistance level. So in that sense, there is an early indication that these highs will be broken. But we need to see how things unfold. Now, before that, and before getting too carried away, there are few things that you need to watch, and this again is from a very very near term perspective. uh, you can see that swing over here has come to 90, almost 85 or so, right? Average swing is also around 70. So maybe a day of up move and a good breath like today can get both these indicators towards the 90 mark. So over there, in that sense, you would want some bit of correction or consolidation to come by, so that the trend is in your favor. I mean, so that basically the risk reward is in your favor. But otherwise, the at this point of time, the breakout and the follow up buying that we have seen today is encouraging, and and on top of that, there is a the closing was almost towards the all time high. I mean towards the day high. So that is again a good sign. So there are many positives that are now starting to emerge, especially the small mid caps and the small and the micro caps. The last hurdle for them is this, the 40-day exponential average. After that, I think over here also, I mean, if at all, the small and the micro cap end up closing above the 40-hour exponential I mean 40-day exponential average, then it will, I am assuming by that time Nifty will end up breaking the previous high, and that will largely be very positive. Okay, so that is how I'm seeing at this point of time. Bank Nifty is yet to see that pickup because when you look at the Bank Nifty index, uh, yeah, when you look at the Bank Nifty index, it has halted around the 50% retracement mark, and over here, if you end up drawing this falling wedge pattern that is there, so it has closed somewhere near that only. Okay, so I would imagine that if Nifty has to break out above that, then we will eventually need the support of Bank Nifty index as well, which is right now sitting around the resistance level. So yes, I mean, interesting times. Many of the indices have already indicated that they are willing to move higher, because the price action has also been great, and they have closed near the day's high as well today. So all those things are positive. See, one risk that I just want to highlight, and frankly this is my only bother point, which is the India VIX. Okay, so today we had seen minor uptick in India VIX. So the question is that at what point of time should we start worrying? Maybe, I mean, if it closes above the 20-day average, maybe it can come into the spotlight. But you always have to see it in terms of price action as well for the Nifty index, the main benchmark index. And over there, as it starts trending, wait, let me remove all this. It is messing things up. So yeah, as the Nifty index starts rising higher, you will have this hourly averages as their important reversal point. And as long as the Nifty index broadly stays above this hourly averages, we are good. Okay, so yeah, I mean, it's only when the hourly averages break on the downside and the India VIX also rises a bit, that's where there is a risk of some sort of short term pullback that we can end up seeing. But that's about it. I mean, swing also, if you see, is around 84. Maybe, I don't know. See, you have to understand the swing behavior as well, because what happens is that if there is a lot of pessimism, and if we come out of that pessimism, okay, then it is very much possible that you might end up seeing divergence in the near term, where the Nifty index keeps rising higher but the swing goes down, and after that we end up getting into this correction consolidation phase. Okay, so uh, whether that kind of pattern will happen, or will it just be like 80-90 has reached, and then you end up getting 4 or 5 days of consolidation, and after that it again started sub move, that we need to see. And that's where your hourly averages will play a key role. I mean, if it is just a normal routine minor degree correction, then you might just end up getting some sideways consolidation, and in that case, the averages will move up, and after that you will again get nice move on the upside. So that is how we have to think about this. In fact, IT has been rock solid, and it is now starting to inch higher, and now it is coming to some sort of hurdle level in the near term, which is this its previous high. And I think if that is broken on the upside, I believe there are some weekly averages also. Okay, so weekly averages has well been surpassed. So now it's basically this resistance that it needs to break. And let me also see what is the retracement level it is at. So yes, so broadly now 61.8% retracement is where it is likely to see some resistance, and over there I believe there is this. If you watch, I mean, if you closely notice, then there is a minor gap that is visible. I mean, it is just a minor gap, but nevertheless, it is a gap which is around the 61.8 mark. So this can be some hurdle. I mean, there can be some hurdle for Nifty IT in the near term. But as I told you, I mean, I think there will be rotation that will keep happening. For example, if you see FMCG, it is now trying to bounce back, right? I mean, it is probably the second day of an up move in FMCG. So it is also in a range. So it is possible that IT takes a backseat, then Bank Nifty charges away. I mean, FMCG comes back into picture. So that way, we might end up seeing those rotation. And if those rotation has to happen, then I mean, not necessarily that Nifty index sees a major correction as such, but all it will do is that from time to time it will just go into a consolidation phase like it does over here, and then again keep rising higher. So as the trend picks up, as I mentioned, the hourly averages will play an important role in that sense. And maybe at some point of time, then you will also expect the FIIs to start covering their shorts. I mean, some sort of signs were visible in Friday's trading session. Maybe today we'll get a bit more of a short covering move. And I think once the high is broken on the upside, that's where a large quantum of short covering can kick in. And historically, that they swing from one extreme to the other extreme. So I would be very hopeful of a turnaround probably in the positioning, and at some point of time they turn net long. And when their net long comes to around 60,000 or something, that's where I'll start worrying, is there a case of a medium term top or so. So at this point of time, when you look at all the sentiment indicators, these are all suggesting that there is I mean, the mood is not so good. You can't say that there is extreme panic, but the mood is not good despite market being around the all-time high levels. So, skepticism around the all-time high is always a good sign, because that sort of gives more room on the upside. So yeah, that is there. And in fact, whatever stocks we had seen to certain extent, many of them are doing well. Just give me a minute. Okay. So in many of the cases, there are some good follow through that we are seeing as well. I mean, I think we had discussed Bharat Forge at that point of time, where it had given a bullish crossover over here, and now it is trying to turn around. So try to find setups like these where a bullish crossover is likely to happen. And while this is happening, basically all the moving averages are I mean, the stock is holding above the moving averages. So for that, you simply just need to do a new buy and just keep hovering. Now see, 361, 361. Okay, this is one stock, which is holding above the averages. So see, this is also a good sign, but try to find the ones where already they are in an uptrend. Like you see this Adani Energy Solution, it is already in an uptrend, okay, and it is repeatedly finding support, and then it is trying to turn around. And you can see that there is a bullish crossover now. So ideally, those are the stocks. Those are likely outperformers, and they can possibly do well. In some cases, you will end up finding some patterns like Bajaj Auto. It is this triangular pattern that it is forming. So, and there is a bullish crossover. So I think if the prices break out from this triangular structure, then broadly it will be positive. So that way, you will have to try and scan the stocks. I've already mentioned that, you try to make that list. You can see BHEL also now in this list. That seems to be, uh, having a good pattern, basically breaking above the previous high, consolidating over there, and now the momentum is again picking up. So, you will have to do a little bit of hard work, but I would say that, by applying these filters, your life would any which ways get a very easy. And all you have to then try and do is that, find the stocks where they are respecting the averages and RMI is giving a bullish crossover after going to the zero line. Okay. Try to find such setups. I'm sure you will find many of them, because, Nifty has been consolidating for quite some time. So, a lot of stocks have gone into this sideways pattern, right? So I'm sure you will find many opportunities. And this is, I'm just watching for the FNO stocks. When you do all stocks, the list will be even bigger. And I think once we end up getting those weekly confirmation of a breakout as well, I think you can put all those filters on the weekly chart and try and find, where is it that you're getting a very good opportunity now. Okay. So, in the coming days, if at all the breakout occurs, just be prepared, because see, at some point of time, like I was telling you, right, this short covering has to happen. And history has told to us that whenever the short covering move happens, it typically leads to a good move on the upside. You see this. Usually, the furious up move that we end up seeing is a result of a short covering rally. So at some point of time, that will get triggered. So the medium term, upside level of somewhere around 28, 29, 30,000, those are very much possible. So be prepared for that and be prepared with the list. So, for that matter, I told you, you can use any way, any scans that you want. In fact, even if you want to have a top down approach, then simply go to RRG and try to find the indices. Wait, I'll check from those 17 indices. Okay. From these indices, you would want to see where is it that, on the weekly chart, we are seeing strong momentum. See, IT is one of them, right? MNC is trying to turn around. You can see metal, there is now some turnaround. So this is all happening on the weekly chart. And when this happens on a weekly chart, usually it has a long way to go, right? Even if you see infra, oil and gas, you know, all this, they are seeing an increasing relative strength. So that is always a good sign. Uh, so yeah, you try to find over here now. Say for example, if the metal sector is looking good, so just go to metal, and find the stocks. So you can use benchmark either as metal, or you can use Nifty index. Whatever you're comfortable with. Uh, both is fine. So you can try and find, where is it that you are getting those, good turnaround. Like you can see over here, right? Wellspun Corp, there is some bit of turnaround that is visible. Sale, there is some bit of turnaround visible. NMDC, the momentum is already good and rising. Now there is a chance that relative strength can also improve. So, try to find those setups. I'm sure you will. I mean, when you try to dig deeper, you will get hundreds of ideas. All you then need to do is that, try to see the stocks which fit your bill and which fits your risk reward. And I think that is the way that you will be able to be prepared, as and when we get this up move. Okay. So the main thing, in the near term, just watch out how swing does, especially in the very near term. Okay. If at all, I mean, the preferable thing would be that if we end up getting some cooling off of swing, then that would be good. And any cool off towards this hourly averages will be, seen positively. And this gap zone also now will end up becoming an important support level for the Nifty index. So that's how I am seeing this market at this point of time. So while, as I told you, I mean, earlier my biggest concern was India VIX. It is still a concern, but at this point of time, given that the Nifty index has given a breakout on the upside, respect the levels, respect the averages, and keep that as a trailing level on the downside. And I think as long as we are above the early averages, we are broadly good. So, so yeah, I mean, that's how I'm seeing the market at this point of time. So let me know. I mean, if there are any questions that you'll have, which I can answer. I would, refrain from, talking specific about stocks. But if you have any broader question on index or, or how to scan or how to find, outperformers and so on, uh, I'm happy to, address those questions. Please let me know if you all have any questions. Any questions, please let me know. I'll wait for a couple of minutes. If Nifty comes to 25,800, then is this a buying zone? So I don't think that should come. And if it comes, then we'll have to see the market that time. But I would imagine that if at all the dip comes, uh, this hourly averages should not be broken on the downside. Okay. If this hourly averages breaks on the downside, then I think it's a problem. Okay. Because if there is a breakout that is happening, then ideally you see, just to make you understand, whenever the moves are trending, you will see that hourly averages does not break on the downside. Even if it breaks, very quickly it comes back, right? So if you are talking about 25,800, it comes to around these levels, right? I mean, if these level come, then of course the hourly averages will break, and if hourly averages will break, then it would mean that the move is not that strong and trending. Okay. And I would expect that at some point of time we'll start getting that trending move. So I'll be surprised, frankly, if 25,800 comes. Okay. It's only when the hourly averages break on the downside, that's when, I'll start thinking of downward levels. But as of now, I mean, I'll have to trust the market, that a bullish crossover has happened in the Nifty index. And in fact, it has closed above the 20-day average as well, right? All this is happening, then I wouldn't expect a retest back to the low, frankly. So that's how I'm thinking about it. uh, Deepak, I've repeatedly mentioned earlier, I think gold silver is not there on strike. So not something, you know I would be discussing. And as I mentioned, I mean, I'm refraining from talking about stocks specifically. Okay. I think, Deepak, you have been on this live episode for many time, for a long time now. So I'm sure you are well equipped and well aware of, how uh, we scan stocks and so on, right? So please, I mean, do that. I mean, that's all I can say. Can't, talk very much talk specific now, given that, we might also have some biased view somewhere. So because there are many things. I mean, now that we have got this advisory license as well, so there are a lot of things that we are putting out on India charts as well. So that is why I hope you understand. So, but sorry about that. Any more questions? I'll wait for a minute. No, so I'll just give you. So Deepak, I can only tell you this much, that if at all such big breakouts occur, I mean 40 or 50 or so, the trend is unlikely to fizzle out. Say in 3 or 4 months of up move. At the max, what can happen is that yes, the stock will see retracements, right? And those retracements can be significant as well. If a stock has gone up 100%, then giving back 15-20% is a very normal routine, right? So that is how I would view at it. And as I told you, I mean, if something is trending very strongly, look at the averages which it is following. Usually those averages will not break easily. You can go and check the chart of silver as well, and you put 20 SMA and 40 EMA, and you see how well it is respecting that. So as long as it is above the averages, all is good. If it breaks below the averages, then you need to be prepared for some correction. Kushwan says, but in RSI, not yet bullish. I mean, RSI does not tell you bullish or bearish, right? It just gives you overbought, oversold zones. So it is more towards 60 right now, and which means it is above the midpoint, right? So that's how I would look at it. Your view on small cap stocks. So they see at some point of time, this divergence cannot happen, right? That Nifty index is rising higher and small cap index is falling. One of the two is wrong. Okay, either this one also has to fall eventually to match small cap, or small cap also has to eventually rise higher to match and be in sync with Nifty, right? So the whole idea is that we are consolidating around the all-time highs. So at some point of time, the all-time high will be broken. As I told you, my earlier concern looking at VIX was that, do we see a correction first and then move higher, or do we right away move higher? That was the question that I had. I mean, that was bothering me. But now, given that there are signals that we are seeing in the Nifty index of a turnaround, so I would imagine that at some point of time, even small cap turns around, and for to see visible strength in small cap index, it needs to break and sustain above the 40-day exponential average. And it will be in steps, right? So 40-day, if it breaks and it sustains above that, then you will end up seeing strength. And once the 40 week, I mean, this on the weekly averages, it ends up breaking both the averages. That's where you will end up seeing weekly momentum also turning bullish, and that's where a big real move can eventually unfold. So it will be like a step by step process. Already 20-day it has broken. Now we'll await the 40-day and the weekly averages to break out on the upside. And when those things happen, you will end up seeing RMI also turning bullish, and RMI turning bullish will in general will be viewed very positively. And while all this is happening, most likely Nifty index should break out above the all-time high. And if Nifty index breaks out above the all-time high, then I would expect that a short covering rally should unfold. And if that unfolds, then I think entire market will be viewed positively. I mean, that is how I'm thinking at this point of time. Any other questions? I think it's 5:40 now. Yeah, I mean, we did start a bit late, but I think I've covered all the questions and I can't see any more questions. So let's wind up for today and let's catch up tomorrow and hope to see now a good follow through moves, given that, indices, I mean, for many of the indices, the daily RMI is in bullish mode. So, it would be great to see a follow up buying, from here on. And more importantly, watch out for how the FIs behave now, whether they go for a short covering or no. If they go for a short covering, then that typically triggers a nice move and a good directional move for next at least few weeks to few months perspective. So yeah, watch out for these things as I've spoken about. And in the very near term, watch out for how daily swing behaves. That will help you to time things a bit more precisely. Okay. So once again, thanks a lot for joining, and let's catch up tomorrow and see what market does, and let's then discuss what the probable path is.